Life and Times of Captain Jack Isbester for Shetland is the title of a new book exploring the eventful life of an Isles-born seafarer. He spent most of his career as to master a large square-rigged ship sailing out to Liverpool. His grandson, Captain Jack Isbester, researched and wrote the biography, and, as he told me, his grandad did not have a privileged start in life.
He could hardly have had a poorer background. His mother was illiterate, and his father never married his mother, went off to Australia and New Zealand and became a gold miner. Now, we've no idea whether he intended to come back and marry the mother or not, but when my grandfather was in his mid-20s, he was out in Australia and he actually met his father. Had no idea what they said to each other, but I'd be fascinated to know what they did say.
So he did have very humble origins, but he rose to become a very successful captain. How did that happen?
Well, he was clearly a determined man and an ambitious man. He started in the fishing, did one season with the Shetland herring fishing, and then 3 seasons on the Faroe boats fishing for cod. And thereafter he went deep sea, went to Liverpool and started on the big square-rigged sailing ships. And whereas most of his shipmates, the common sailors, were spending all their money as soon as they earned it, he was clearly saving his money up and must have been a very steady seaman and clearly ambitious from the start. He qualified with his second mate certificate at the age of about 24 and his mate certificate at 27, 28 and master certificate at 31, and by the age of 32 he was in command. All the details are consistent with somebody who was really ambitious to do well in his career.
And what sort of drove you to write the book about him?
Well, I'm the only seafarer descendant of his, and my father used to say that his father's life would make a very good story and should be written. I was curious about my grandfather. I wondered how good a seaman he'd been, and I wanted to explore his history, so I had published a couple of books on technical subjects. When I was retired, I decided I got a bit of time, and now was the time to write the book about my grandfather.
One thing I noticed when I was reading about this was that your grandmother had sailed with him as well, and in fact gave birth to her 9th child on board.
Yeah, that's a remarkable event, and of course it is covered in the book. She knew she was due, and I suppose she was taking it pretty calmly because she'd had 8 children before and knew what to expect. But in a letter to a friend, she says, Norman came in a great rush. There was nobody there except the minister's wife. And she was so surprised, I don't think she's recovered yet.
Well, your grandmother must have been very stoic as well.
Yeah.
How would you sum up being able to write the tale of your grandfather? Like a time of seafaring that's sort of past now.
I'm very glad I did it, because people have been telling me that the interest in sailing ships is diminished now, but the impression I get from the reaction to the book is that people find it fascinating.
Captain Jack Isbester there, and his talk on the book is in the Shetland Library this Friday at 7 o'clock. Just time for a last look at the weather, and it'll be dry with lots of cloud tonight.